Welcome back to Squelch, the video game book club. I'm Dano.
I'm Man-at-Arms.
And I'm Storm Rage. And we're here to remind you that Final Fantasy VI is a game, and that games are supposed to be fun.
They are fun.
They are fun indeed. Before we get started, we wanted to say hello to Daughterist Bear. Diarist Bear mentioned that you all were listening for homework, and we thought we would say hi. So hi.
Hello!
Hi, get your homework
I
done.
hope you're enjoying your homework, and if you're not, blame your dad.
Exactly.
Indeed, because how could you not enjoy Squelch? I think that's,
If people don't enjoy us, that's not on us, that's on them.
I mean, you can. Good news is you can now enjoy us on YouTube as well.
You can enjoy us on YouTube as well. Squelchcast is where we're at on YouTube. We got the RSS feed set to that. Don't know how long we could have done that, but we just got it set up. So we now have every episode of the Video Game Book Club up there on YouTube. So it's like 90 odd episodes of podcasts that nobody has listened to. So we are officially the saddest podcast on YouTube. Yes, Matt.
Today, when you posted a couple days ago, today was that day I learned that we have 98 episodes of the book club format.
Slightly
This is
less
episode
than
99
that,
of
yeah,
the book club format.
It double booked a couple of them, so we have like
No.
90 something episodes of the book club, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're almost to 100 episodes of the second podcast. So this week, the plan was to get to Vector. Next week, finish the banquet. So does that sound cryptic? Yes. But will it be very clear? Yes. So,
I have no idea what this is, but I'm very excited to find out. I love banquets. Banquets are fun. Banquets have food and dancing and silliness. So I'm sure that this will be a great time for everybody.
yeah, I think you actually nailed it. Spoilers for yourself. I mean,
Good.
Yeah, you just ruined it. Thanks, Stormage.
You're welcome.
let's go thank our patrons.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
A big thank you to our patrons and Twitch subs. Your support keeps this podcast ticking. If you want to support the show, head over to twitch.tv/DanoPlay or patreon.com/Squelch. $5 and above patrons get the night of the podcast when it's recorded. That was wrong. That was backwards. But you know what? It's getting late, so we're gonna roll with that. So you get the
We're doing
night.
our best.
You get the night when the podcast is recorded. You're welcome.
This one's a real page turner.
We're starting to really get into our friendship here, so let's go ahead and get started. First up, our good Fred Bannon, the leader of the Returners, a secret resistance movement formed against the Gestalian Empire. His prey ability will heal the entire party.
We have Celes. She was raised in the Gestalian Empire. She received a magic infusion as a child and rose to the rank of a general. She became disillusioned with the Empire and turned traitor after the attack on South Figaro. She was rescued from South Figaro dungeon by Locke.
CYAN is a samurai and retainer to the king of Doma. CYAN led the defense of Doma against the Gestalian Empire until Kefka poisoned the river, killing literally everyone except for himself in a miraculous turn of events where he survived without any explanation, and we don't need it. We're fine just as you are, Final Fantasy VI. Don't change a thing.
He is a very vigorous man. He does have high health points, so maybe he was just weakened by it. Maybe it was his internal strength.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or he just doesn't drink water.
Oh, maybe he doesn't
drink water.
hydrate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That second one I prefer. It's like a dark yellow color. Go ahead and just make that the show title now.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we need to do that.
You're You're welcome, daughterist pair. Edgar, the ruler of Figaro, the most technologically advanced nation in the world. Figaro and Edgar were allied with the Castilian Empire, but Edgar was planning all along to double-cross the Empire and join the Returners. He is a kind-hearted man and a master engineer. He also hits on every woman in sight.
Mm-hmm. We have Gal. He's a feral child who grew up in the Veld. He joins herds and packs of animals and monsters in the Veld. He can't do that anywhere else. Why would he? Learning their attacks, and Sabin and Cyan earned his trust during their journey because they gave him beef jerky through the Veld. And then Gal decided to travel with them, eventually joining the Returners. In my playthrough, Cyan and Gal are inseparable. They're like father and son now.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Next up, we have Locke. Locke is definitely a treasure hunter and not a thief. Will he steal? Who's to say? Has he stolen the clothes off of the backs of both honest merchants and workers? Listen to last week's episode and find out more problematic details about the 90s. Yeah.
First of all, that merchant he stole the clothes off his back of was kind of a jerk. So,
yeah,
obviously had it coming.
I can assure you that not all three of the merchants that you can steal from are all terrible jerks.
Greater good, Storm Rage, greater good.
You're right. I should have thought about that. Locke is also a member of the Returners and helps out a bunch.
We got Sabin, the twin brother of Edgar. He chose to forgo the throne in favor of his freedom. He studied under the master monk Duncan, fighting with claws and learning the powerful blitz technique.
Mm-hmm. We got Shadow. He's a wandering mercenary, ninja, and assassin. He will join the party, but for a price, and never for long. He chooses when he joins and when he leaves. His only allegiance is to himself and his dog Interceptor. He's a ninja. Do we mention that? Because he's a ninja. He threw throwing stars and scrolls at things. It's kind of awesome.
Next up, we have Terra, who is essentially our main character in this game. They are a former slave and a soldier of the Castilian Empire. She was rescued by Locke after being mind-controlled to attack Narsh. And even though she's been freed, she has no memory of who she is. She joined the Returners not because she wants to fight, because she wants to create a lasting peace. And also, she can use magic, which is incredibly rare in this time period, but boy howdy does it make people think of the War of the Magi from 1,000 years ago.
Which everyone's very well informed of, by the way. But I suppose it's like a crusade situation, right? Where so you know what, as I make the joke, it actually kind of makes sense. Here are our bad guys. First up, we have General Leo, the top general of the Castilian Empire. He was leading the attack on Doma before being summoned back to the capital, which led to Kefka taking control of the siege. Even though Leo led the attack on Doma, Cyan and Sabin believe he is an honorable man.
And we have Kefka. He's a 5-mana legendary creature, human wizard, 4/5 stat line. Whenever Kefka enters or attacked, each player discards a card, then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. He's also a clown, and he's obsessed with magic.
Emperor Gasol.
I'd read the other half of the card, but that's spoilers.
Emperor Gaston is the Emperor, the bad guy. That's it. That's all you need to know about him.
Yeah, you're right.
I love the victory music in this game.
The victory fanfare is so good.
All right, last time on Dragon Ball Z, we fought Kefka, and Terra flew off flew off to the west after transforming into something. We have no idea where she went. We know she generally went west. The Returners decide to send a search party out to find her. We leave Gao and Cyan behind to defend Narsh because that was my party, and the rest decide to make way to Figaro Castle. Did you know that Figaro Castle can travel wherever there's desert? Glad all that sand in the world is connected that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just it makes total sense.
Yeah, that's just geography,
so we arrive.
Matt. Yeah, it's just geography.
Yeah, I mean, like all the sand in the world is connected.
Through sand tunnels that you can move a castle through. That's just
Yeah, duh.
yeah. I mean, that's
Right?
that's geology 101. That's I mean, you didn't learn that at where you went to college. I mean, I learned that.
I didn't go to CYAN college. No.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Checks out.
Yeah. All right. So we arrive at Figaro Castle, and Sabin leaves the party to go look around for a bit. We're free to move about the castle, and not a lot has changed. There's not a lot of whole new dialogue, unfortunately. It's like, oh, we're back. Okay, great. We go take a nap in the room with the 4 beds, and we go to a cutscene. Sabin is walking towards the thrones. He takes a look at Edgar's throne and comments that things haven't changed. Takes a seat and says that it feels different. His parents are gone now, and nothing could be the same now. Go ahead, Storm Rage.
Real quick, if you're thinking I played through this didn't happen, same dog. The only way that this occurs is if you have these characters in the party. That is also true for some stuff with Locke later on. So be aware that your interpretations and the narrative presented to you might be slightly different.
So
Yes, go ahead, Daniel.
this cutscene will happen at the first time both Sabin and Edgar return together to Figaro.
Great.
And I only brought Edgar the first time I went through here, and you walk in and Edgar goes, "Boy, I sure wish Sabin were here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I turned around and went back to Narsh, picked him up, and then I was like, "Oh, look at that. Thanks."
See, I had almost the exact same thing. I think I had Sabin instead of Edgar, or maybe Edgar instead of Sabin, one of the two. And they said something very similar, and I went, huh. Anyway, and I continued on.
All right. So as Sabin's sitting there, we flash back 10 years to the night that Sabin and Edgar's father died. Sabin's upset and he runs away after the king's death. Sabin cries and Edgar comforts him. Priestess says that the king's last words that he would entrust Figaro to the two of them. Sabin is disgusted. He's upset that everyone thinks the Empire had their father poisoned, and that they only care about who the next king will be. He also says that probably nobody ever even cared when their mother died in childbirth. The High Priestess tries to help, but Sabin says she's just as bad as the rest of them. Sabin vows revenge on the Empire, pushes her aside, and Edgar tells her just leave us be. Edgar finds Sabin at the top of the center tower looking at the stars. Sabin says to Edgar, "Let's leave this place and forget this crazy kingdom and live our lives how we want to." Edgar asks what would happen to Figaro if they both left. Dad was counting on them to take the throne and take care of Figaro. Edgar suggests they settle this with a coin toss. They use a coin given to Edgar by their father. "Heads you win, tails I win," he says. Winner chooses the path they want. No regrets, no hard feeling. Edgar flips the coin and we follow it up into the air, and it fades into the throne room. Edgar's voice from behind the curtain says, "And you chose your freedom." The brothers share some brotherly barbs that shrimp turned into a big lobster, and Sabin just has the greatest line, "And you're a king crab." It's just great. I love it. Edgar sits down and asks Sabin if their father would be proud of him. Sabin assures Edgar that their father would be filled with pride wherever he is. The brothers share a moment, reminiscing, and share a toast to their father, their mother, and Figaro and the last 10 years. I love this scene. The scene rules. It is so good. Just like you get that just brotherly, like reunion that just has been happening in the background for years, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really well done, and especially with like the limited amount that they were able to kind of do with the Super Nintendo, right? To be able to kind of pull off how there was a very, very cool cutscene with 16-bit technology. Told a lot of story with not a lot of time, and you really get to kind of like see how both brothers think and what was going on and how they both ended up where they are. I think it's really, really interesting and really, really fun.
Would have been a cool scene to see.
Yeah. All right, so the next morning, the party gets together and make their way to the throne room. We give the order, and Castle Figaro descends in the sand again and appears towards the northwest near the village of Kohlingen.
So after traveling under a mountain range and ascending through a completely different desert, like Matt spoke earlier, all deserts are connected. This is science. We are only a short walk from the village of Kohlingen. In the tavern, we see a familiar friend, Shadow. We can recruit him to a party if we want, but there is a chance that he will leave us at a moment's notice. That leaves us with a tough choice to make. On one hand, we may be stuck with just 3 members in our party, but on the other hand, ninja. Speaking to the townfolk, we learn of a monster that flew through town, a monster with gentle eyes. That sounds like our Terra. Now we just need to figure out where she went. We continue to speak to villagers, and one of them recognizes Locke and asks us if we have stopped by Rachel's house. Ooh, who is Rachel, Locke? We head into her house, and Locke gets sad and tells us that he couldn't protect her. Cue the squiggly lines into a sepia cutscene of Locke and a female companion who must be Rachel. They are exploring a cave. Locke is trying to find an amazing hidden treasure in the mountain for Rachel's birthday when, oh no, a cave-in! Rachel dives and knocks Locke to safety, but falls herself. Yes, Storm Rage.
I did not read this as a cave-in. What I interpret it as, and I'm happy to be wrong here, is Locke goes into this cave and he stands on this rickety bridge for an insanely long amount of time. And then the bridge just gives way, and Rachel screams at Locke to jump out of the way, and she pushes Locke off the bridge, she falls down, and is harmed. So in my brain, it's all the fault of terrible engineering and or Locke being a dum-dum and standing on a bridge that could not support his weight for far too long.
That works for me too. Yeah, no, I think both are good.
I mean, it's like throwing rocks into the water when you should just jump on Esquier, really.
just jump on Esquier. What are we doing? Not even that
Just
close
go!
to it yet. Locke rescues her and brings her back home, but she doesn't remember anything. Rachel's father demands that Locke leave the village because he blames Locke for what happened. Locke doesn't want to leave, but Rachel comes out and tells him to leave because he is upsetting her parents. So, Locke left to find a cure for Rachel's amnesia. Locke returned a year later, only to learn that Rachel had died in an Imperial attack, and that the last thing she said was his name. Her memory returned just before she died, and that's why Locke hates the Empire, is always promising to help, and never wants to leave someone behind. What a truly sad story. Oh well, the best thing for Locke is to move on. Let's just head into this big house over here, and what's that? Is that the crazy person music? Sure is. Let's go check out the basement. Is that a dead body surrounded by flowers being tended by a creepy old man? Is he coming up to Locke and telling Locke that everything is fine and that his herbal concoction is working perfectly and that Rachel hasn't aged a day and never will? And by the way, if she is dead, why would she be aging? Locke, you've got some explaining to do. Oh no. Squiggly lines and sepia tone. It's another flashback. Locke is in the creepy basement talking to Rachel, who is lying on the bed, dead. The creepy old man comes down and assures Locke that the love of his life will sleep just like this forever and ever and ever. He talks to the old man and mentions a legendary treasure that can bring her spirit back to her body. The old man is like, sure, if you have that, then we can probably revive her. Then he laughs maniacally. Back in the present day, Locke is trying to explain this to the group, and honestly, they are handling it fairly well. Celes seems kind of sad since it's obvious that she has a crush on him, and Locke seems stuck in the past. Well, nothing more we can do here. We should go speak to more villagers unless... Is that a hidden chest behind a crate? Looks like there's a back door to this house. Better go figure that out and rob this old man before we leave. Sweet, a green beret. That is a good helmet. Let's just go ahead and equip this on, and now it is time to figure out where Terra went. Speaking to a few other villagers gives us the answer. She flew off towards Jador. Off we go. We arrive in Jador to do a little shopping, stop by the auction house, but it is closed. Visit the mansion that is home to an art connoisseur, do a little more chatting, and then learn that Terra has flown off to Zozo. The townspeople warn us that no one can be trusted in Zozo, but we have to go. Terra is there. A little more traveling and we arrive in Zozo. It's raining and everyone is lying to us. We also get attacked while we're in town. It seems like this town is really full of bandits and ne'er-do-wells. Yes, Storm Rage.
This is one of those moments where either A, you need a guide, or B, you have to be more completionist. Because I walked into this town and people were just like, hello, here are the things. And there is no indication that they are lying in the town. You only get that indication from outside of the town. So if you didn't read anything and you just like skipped through conversations because you didn't really care because you're not really talking about the plot, you could go to this place very confused. Yes, Matt?
Everybody's dressed as bandits. You don't trust anyone that's dressed as a bandit.
I don't judge people based on how they look, Matt.
I mean, it's very much like, the soldiers of the Empire look one way. The bandits all are dressed one way. They're bandits. They have
And
the
I
weird
trust
Goku
Locke.
hair.
Locke's basically a bandit.
Yeah, but he's
a
playing
treasure
as Locke,
hunter.
so he's a treasure hunter, not a bandit.
Maybe they're
Okay?
just treasure hunters that are misunderstood.
It's possible.
Remember, this is the 90s. We judge everybody by their uniforms. You have the
Great point.
preps,
I forgot about that.
the jocks, the punks,
The bandits who have Goku hair.
We do a little more exploring and find a broken clock. Talking to people around town, they each tell us that it is a different time. But we know that everyone is lying because we actually talk to people in towns instead of just racing from spot to spot and then complaining
Everyone does
about that
this.
later, knowing that you have to talk to people in this game.
Yeah.
All right, so time for some note taking. We talk to every person, and we can figure out by process of elimination that the time is 6:10 and 50 seconds. We set the clock, and a secret passage opens up. Sweet. I wonder what is in the chest. A chainsaw for Edgar? Now we have a ninja and a chainsaw-wielding king. It's fantastic. Now that we have solved the puzzle, we just have to walk up the tallest building in town, fighting hill giants that cause earthquakes as they die, dancing ladies who use magic, and thugs who literally rob us during the fight. Just before we get to the top, we are stopped by a guy who tells us that he is weak and that he will just let us go by. Phew, that would have sucked to get into a fight with some sort of strong enemy just before we get to the top. But wait, doesn't everyone in Zozo lie? Yep. This man is named Dadaluma, and he looks to be a pretty powerful martial artist. This actually isn't a very difficult fight, just slightly annoying because he keeps using potions to heal himself and cast protection magic. Eventually, we whittle him down and get to the top of the tower, where we see Terra sleeping in a bed in an empty bedroom in her monster form. As we approach, an old man appears in the chair next to the bed and tells us that she is frightened. He explained to us that she is in no danger and that she simply used a power she didn't know. Are you trying to confuse me while I read by highlighting the words that I am reading?
Sorry.
Not me. It's not me.
It was like a fun game.
I was just absentmindedly just scrolling in the.
It was just like that. You know how when you're like bored, you just highlight something and you drag back and forth? That was Matt on the
Yes.
paragraph I was trying to read through. So as we approach, an old man appears in the chair next to the bed and tells us she is frightened. He explains to us that she is in no danger, that she simply used a power she didn't know she had, and it overwhelmed her. He introduces himself as Rama the Esper. Yeah, that's right, the Esper, and says that he is living amongst the humans. He tells us that since his form is similar to humans, that he can safely live in the human world without anyone knowing what he is. He then goes on to say that it isn't safe for Espers to live with humans because that is what caused the War of the Magi, a war where humans infused with the power of Espers fought other Espers and humans. After the war was over, the Espers created their own world and retreated to it. And then, 20 years ago, Emperor Gestalt found his way in and with the help of his soldiers kidnapped a bunch of Espers to steal their power. The Espers created a gate to keep the humans out, but it was too late. Those who were captured are held in the Empire's Magitech research facility, being drained of their powers. Rama claimed that he narrowly escaped and is hiding here in Zozo from the Empire, that he called terror to him when he felt her lose control. Here's when Locke asked the million guild question. Is Terra an Esper? Rama says no, she is something different. Rama won't share Terra's secret, but he does say that she is afraid of what she is, and that is painful, which is like a very factual and true statement. Like in the middle of this like lore dump is this like very real like point about like being comfortable with yourself and who you are. I thought that was just neat. When asked what we can do to help her, he says that others of his kind are still trapped in the Magitech facility, and if freed, they may be able to help her. Rama tells us that he ran away from the facility and that he is a coward and that he cannot stay here much longer. He tells Celes that the Empire's methods are mistaken, that draining an Esper's power by force is not the way to unlock their true potential, that the only way to gain their true potential is that they can become Magicite. Magicite is an Empire's power in its purest form, and when an Esper dies, Magicite is all that's left behind. Rama then tells us that he is going to turn himself into Magicite to help us. Before he can do that, he gives us 3 pieces of Magicite who were his companions who fell as they fled the Empire. That being done, Rama turns himself into Empire as well. The group asks why he would do such a thing, and they hear Rama's voice in the air. You must stop the Empire. There must not be a second war of the Magi. What a sacrifice these powerful yet humble beings made for us. Well, there's only one way to honor them. We must pick up their corpses and put them on like a pair of gloves to learn their tricks. Ooh, this one teaches us Kira. That seems good.
I cannot describe how absolutely insane this lore drop is.
Yes.
Hey, Empire doing bad. They're draining us of our life force. We cannot have that. And besides, you know the best way to unlock our power? Kill us. Instead of draining it slowly, it's just murder is a more effective route to go. I don't think I'd share that information with anybody. I think I would keep that one as close to my heart as possible because the idea of, hey, you know how to get even more power for the Empire? Killing every Esper you see seems like bad information to exist in the world.
Why do you think the War of the Magi happened?
I don't know. We haven't known. It was 1,000 years ago.
It was this, though. It was this.
Yeah.
It was murdering the Esper and taking their power and equipping them like a pair of gloves. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But one of them teaches Kira. Ooh.
Sure, yeah.
A more powerful Kira ability.
It's also expensive.
22 MP, is that right? As we make our way out of the tower, we run into the rest of our party. Apparently they got apprehensive and came looking for us. On the way down, Sabin asks Celes if everything Rama said was true. She tells him that she was asleep and doesn't remember, but she has heard rumors about how it works, and it's not good. Once they got to the bottom, they decide to split up again. Locke and Celes plus 2 others will go to the Empire, while the rest stay behind to defend Narsh. Apparently, Tara will be just fine sleeping in this room on her own at the top of the bandit tower. So, good for her.
I think Ramu actually says before he turns into a rock, like that like the tower is protected. There's nothing that can harm her here.
Oh, so. Does he? I missed that. That's
yeah.
Good. True or not, I'm going to believe that because otherwise it's insane. It's like, nah, she's fine.
Why this place of all places is crazy to me.
Locke suggests that they go back to Jador and bribe some wealthy aristocrat into finding a way into the Empire. So we get back to Jador, and the only rational thing to do when we have a mission to save the world is to go shopping and then go to the auction house. The auction house even has some Espers on sale, which we promptly buy. That's lucky considering we just learned about them. We go into a giant house full of art, and Celes is mistaken for Maria, the star of the opera house, by the actual leader of the opera house. He drops a note on the way out the door. We read it, and it says, "Dearest Maria, I've decided to take you as my wife, so I'll be coming to kidnap you. Signed, the Wandering Gambler." That was a direct quote, by the way. That's just what the note said. So the 90's were great, apparently.
They were something.
We ask who this wandering gambler is, and we're told that he is a gambling vagabond who finds freedom from society's narrow views of morality aboard his ship, the Blackjack. Wait, and we get to name him? That means he's one of us. We better get to that opera house right away and meet Setzer, the owner of the world's one and only airship.
Also, another thing, maybe you didn't go to the auction house because you don't know where the auction house is and you've never heard of the auction house. Sometimes you play this game on hard mode on accident. That's what I've learned from hearing about this week's adventures, because my adventures were very different, even though I was following a guide the entire time.
Are you using the guide that I linked?
I think so.
Okay, I think it mentions it. I will check it to
It
make
might.
sure.
It might, and it might have been one of those moments where I was like, I'm gonna not use a guide for this small section because I don't like using a guide every single moment of the game. Then it feels like the guide's playing it, not me.
No.
But turns out you should. Turns out you should just let the guide play the game for you, I think.
One thing you can do that I will usually do with a game like this is at the top of each section, it will say, here are the things you can get in this area, so that you know what you're kind of looking for. And then you're not necessarily like playing the guide. Instead, you're just kind of like checking, okay, there are things here to get, so I should ask around and stuff. That can be helpful.
But there's so many things listed that I don't know if they're good or not. So, like, in many places, it's like, here are all the things. And sometimes it's, here's an item that you will literally never use. And other times it's like, here's the best item in the game. And it's just hard, if you don't know what those items are, to understand what are items to pay attention to versus what are items that are essentially just a different potion.
Yeah, the guide writer will, like, use, like, different colors for important things or things you can only get at this one time. So that can be helpful as well. So like he'll like highlight something red, or so you kind of know, here's the only time I can get this. These espers you can get later. It's not the end of the world if you don't have them right now. But
okay.
So yeah, don't stress that. These are available for the entire game at this auction house. So
okay. Fantastic. From here we continue on. We go into the opera house, and the impresario, the guy that is in charge of all this, greets us as he is both terrified and concerned. That is a character trait for him. All the time he is terrified and concerned. We go in, we've got a great plan. You want to know our plan? Here it is. Our plan is when Setzer appears, we grab him. Nailed it. Impresario doesn't like this plan. The show is important, and he wants the show to go on. He is worried about the actual Maria being kidnapped, but wild to care about somebody getting kidnapped. It's the 90s, but sure. So we decide our plan is going to be, let's use a decoy. And you know what? Celeste looks a lot like Maria, apparently. And obviously, Celeste also has the natural talent to easily perform a fully memorized opera that, without a doubt, took years of practice, months of preparation, and weeks of rehearsals in order to fully achieve. But you know what? We could probably figure it out in a good solid 30 minutes. That sounds very reasonable. Welcome to Final Fantasy VI, everybody.
that's just acting. Everyone knows it's easy.
Yeah, it's easy, especially when you add in operatic training to the mix.
Yeah, and she's like the world greatest operatic singer. As long as you look like that person, you can also sing like them and act like them. That's also science.
Yep. All the science checks out. As we continue about our plan, the big bad squid thing that harassed us in the river threatens us and tosses a letter our way. We ignore it. We've got more important things to do. The show must go on, and the opera begins. We cut to Locke and everyone else that is in our party, other than Celeste, who is somewhere else at the moment, and we're watching the opening of the opera. Yay! Locke gets up from his seat, where, weirdly, no one else is. There is not another person seated in the audience in our section, and it is... whether it is because poor ticket sales or because they decided to close the balcony for security reasons, who's to say? I like to think that the arts are alive and well, but admittedly, if they're just throwing on people that have never performed opera in the history of their lives before, maybe it might be ticket sales. Who's to say? Yeah, Matt.
Who's to say there isn't operatic training in the Gestalian Empire for generals?
Yeah. Maybe
would
she
think that
took
it's-
classes.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
There we go.
Now, do you think that while she's taking those classes, let's say hypothetically, let's just play this out. She takes a few classes here or there. How much of her time do you think is dedicated to this craft out of the day? Like, what is the intent? How much hours and things of that nature?
So I'm gonna say that 30% of her time was practicing magic.
Sure.
20% of her time was practicing the sword. 10% of the time was practicing her runic ability, and then the other 40% was opera.
Now, out of curiosity, just because I'm ignorant in this, Dano, you were the only one amongst us, I believe, that is been involved in the armed forces here for the United States. How much opera was part of the training that you had to deal with?
So that's a really good question. So I came in as an enlisted sailor. And so I only had, I would say, probably only 30% of my training was opera. But I do know with speaking with some of the officers, especially the ones that go through the Naval Academy, up to 60% of their training is opera.
Real quick, what's your favorite opera?
Carmen.
What's your favorite song from Carmen?
San Diego.
Where in the world is?
We continuing on. We go backstage to console Celeste, who is about to go on and again perform an opera despite literally having never rehearsed it. What a normal thing. Celeste asks why Locke stood up for her, and I don't remember what this is in reference to, but I'm sure it's something. Celeste asks, or Locke says that he is tired of losing the girls that he likes. Celeste asks if he likes her. Locke says the ribbon on her looks nice, but avoids directly answering the question. We then review our lines because, again, she is doing an opera without a rehearsal, and we have to choose the correct lines at random moments on timed intervals. If we fail or take too long, we get kicked out of the opera, but do get to try again three times in total before we go into a fail state of the game and we'll have to reload. If you fail it, which, surprise, surprise, I did, it'll skip past most of the dialogue the second time around, which I was grateful for, but I still didn't understand the premise of the world of like, oh yeah, we're just doing a different show of a different day. Not a clue. I couldn't think about it too much. I don't think the game wanted me to think about it too much. The play continues on until Locke finally reads the letter from Ultros. That's the name of the bad guy I tried to remember earlier that I was referencing about the river thing. Anyway, his name's Ultros. I'll remember it from now on. We better go tell somebody. We come back to the balcony, and Ultros is about to drop a weight on the play, seemingly trying to kill Maria and or Celeste. But wouldn't you know it, the weight is so heavy that it's going to take Ultros 5 minutes before he can push it down, which he loudly proclaims to everyone. We head up into the catwalk and stop him, but we drop down onto the stage itself after successfully preventing the weight from falling. Unfortunately for the play, we accidentally instead flatten the two lead characters that are supposed to be fighting over Celeste's heart. Locke knows what to do. He's going to marry the girl. Why would this possibly work in any way, shape, or form? It wouldn't. We don't need to think about it. It's Final Fantasy VI. Ultros wants to fight. Ultros is a tough fight. He can deal a bunch of damage and also turn us into imps, which makes it so we can't do anything. After the fight, Setzer makes his move and kidnaps fake Maria, aka Celeste, and we follow onto a ship. The impresario also adds, find out what happens next in part 2, which, are we coming back? Are we doing the opera again? What is happening here? Are we leaving this do people think this is an intentional play where this is the plot that happens, where we accidentally flatten the two leads and someone randomly comes on and says, I'll have the girl's heart? Sure, don't question things. It's Final Fantasy VI. Yes, Dano.
So there is a form of theater called improv. Have you heard of improv?
Yeah.
So, Rich,
I have.
Where
Yes.
things happen unexpectedly and everybody on stage has to react to those things, which then the audience then approves of and has a good time with. This is just improv opera. It's just the next level.
It-
So this is
so it could
this
be-
is like
it's
if
imp-
improv and musical theater are both A tier forms of art. Improv
Yeah.
opera is then S tier. So this
Sure.
Final Fantasy is
Is
just
it-
like the next level is all it is.
So is it improv opera?
Yep,
I
nailed
had
it.
I had it for a second and
Mhm.
I lost it. I'm sorry.
Impropera.
Impopera, yeah.
Now, what's interesting about that is that normally improv does not work from a script. So there's not like a deviation at some point where we go, yeah, we'll finish this story up because we accidentally killed 2 people. That is not typical in improv.
Zip.
Continuing on, Setzer does in fact kidnap Celeste, and everyone jumps right on board the ship. Begs the question why we could have just had Maria if we could just like follow them and get on the ship. It doesn't matter. We're not questioning things. It's Final Fantasy VI. Setzer comes to talk to Maria only to realize we did a switcheroo. Uh-oh. We ask if Setzer is willing to aid us. He says no. Uh-oh. Game over. We can't go anywhere else. I guess this is where the game ends. Oh, wait. He's a gambler. We can gamble. We bet on a coin flip. Heads, he joins us. Tails, Celeste, marry Setzer. We win because it is a trick coin. Oops, only heads. Setzer is a man of his word, though, even though we aren't. So we get to fly to the heart of the Empire, and he joins our crew. Matt.
So Celeste tells Setzer that she got the coin from
Edgar.
From Edgar. Yes.
Yeah.
So when Edgar did the coin flip in his scene with Sabin, it was a double-headed coin.
Because he knew that Sabin wanted to leave, and so he
Yeah.
rigged the game so that he would rule Figaro.
So Sabin would get what he wants.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
Sabin could leave and live his life of freedom, which I think is very cool. And then in
Yeah.
the Setzer's defense here, he does know that it's a trick coin, and he's like, yeah, I appreciate a good trick. Nice job. I like this. Good for you. You're a group of people of my own heart. Let's go fight an empire.
I will say, as somebody that didn't get to see that scene earlier, them just having a trick coin out of nowhere was a little crazy.
I think if Edgar's in your party during this scene, doesn't he give the coin to Celes like directly?
She goes
I'm
and
not
talks
sure.
to him and asks for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
I didn't have any understanding for why he did or
Yeah.
what that meant. He just had a trick coin.
Yeah.
From there, we then head over to the Big Bad area. There are a few small towns that we can visit and buy and learn a few things about, but they're all relatively boring or flavor, like context. Nothing plot-wise happens in any of these. But eventually, we make our way to the massive city of Vector that is far more industrial than any other city that we have come across yet. What secrets does this city hold? Will our heroes survive? Will we add another person to our party? These questions and more on the next episode of Squelch, a video game book club podcast.
Hello, old friend. Let's meet for tea after the match, shall we?
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
We have a new friend, so let's talk about him. Setzer is a gambler, and he has a very gamble-forward power set. His weapons are dice, darts, and cards, and his ability is slots, which is exactly what it sounds like. A slot machine appears, and you have to match the 3 pictures to get that attack. It's clever and also super inconsistent because if you don't match up the symbols, you don't get a powerful attack, and instead you get a very tiny heal for the whole party. The timing for his chocobo and diamond slots are not impossible to hit, and with a little practice, you can hit those fairly consistently. But the problem is, with the rest of them, they're all very hard to hit. The worst of all is 777s, which if you do hit, you have a massive attack. But even if you do hit it, there is a 75% chance that the third 7 will roll over to the bar, which is an instant party wipe. So if you haven't saved in a while, sad for you. So even though his unique ability is a bust, his attack can become very powerful by the end of the game. So
I do think some of these are rigged because like I've hit like the sapphires regularly, like when I haven't even tried. So like sometimes it
Yeah, the diamonds. So they're
or the
just there's
diamonds,
more of them. So like the
yeah.
chocobos and diamonds, there's just more of them, and there's fewer of the other
Okay.
ones. So it's like an actual slot where there's like the odds of hitting that are higher. So I think
Right.
it rolls over easier to those.
And what's really nice is if you get a good roll with the slot machine, if you auto attack from then on, he's just going to hit that same roll every time.
Yeah, if you just do slots and even if you miss and then you do auto attack, he will just start rolling over through slots. So like if you need to get, there's like a slot achievement to get them all. So if you're trying to get that achievement, just go up to Narsh with just Setzer in your party and put on auto attack and then just keep on rolling and eventually you'll get it. But I did do that and you die a whole lot because you keep hitting Joker over and over and over again. It gets really annoying. I stopped trying to get that achievement.
All right, so we should probably talk about espers and magicite. Just go into a little deeper dive in that. What are espers? They're a magical creature from a magical world. We'll figure that out. There's more story behind that. We'll figure that out later. When they die, they turn into magicite, which are crystallized remains of espers. They basically turn into magic rocks. When we equip a magicite from the ability screen, a party member to a party member, you can start learning magic from the Esper. You can see the spells that each magicite teaches the equipped character. The acquisition rate is how many AP multiplier each spell has. X1 spells are learned slower, and X10 and X20 spells are learned pretty quickly. There's also a level up additive, like a strength +2 modifier or a magic +1, stuff like that, on each magicite that gains stats on each level up your character gets while the magicite is equipped. The bonus thing, the magicite also allows you to summon the Esper once in each battle for a sizable MP cost. It's like 50 MP-ish, somewhere around there. But the summon attacks are pretty strong. You can swap out magicite between characters as they learn abilities. Welcome to the grind of the game. This is the grind part of the game. If you want to lessen the grind a bit, I suggest if you have the Pixel Remaster, you can multiply the amount of AP you receive from battle up to 4x in the boost menu in the configuration part of the menu screen. I did this once I started getting espers because I knew about the grind, and I had like when I got through the next section, the part in the vector, I had all 4 of the espers maxed out on all 4 of the characters. It was great. It was perfect.
Yeah, and even then, it's not even if you don't do that, like you don't need to learn every Esper on every character. So it's really not brutal. And there will be some pretty like good grind spots later in the game if you want to do that. And if you end up going for Gauze Rages anyways, while you are on the Velt, you do gain AP even though you don't gain experience. So as long as you're paying attention there, you'll have everything. So I have, even without the AP boost, I have like almost everyone with every Esper anyways, by just kind of like wandering around the Velt while I'm trying to grind out rages for Gaw. So there's multiple ways to get it if you want. Then but the Pixel Remaster does help a lot with the XP AP boost for sure though. So
oh yeah.
Taste my grilled cheese.
Much.
What's our first good, Storm Rage?
Espers are pretty fun. Like it's just another fun lever because of the fact that you can place them on certain characters to get them to get better stats when they level up, or more specific stats, or you can give them to characters so they can get different abilities. And so all of a sudden, anybody can become a healer. Anybody can do these kinds of things. And it's an interesting game mechanic that I think has some issues with it, aka the grinding, and like I think that there are some design questions about it, but it is also very fun, and I think that as a game mechanic, pretty cool.
Not so good, Matt?
Seltzer slot ability. It's just so inconsistent and not great, and can possibly kill you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not great.
It's poor. And we'll talk about the fixed dice later when we get there, which is his very, very powerful weapon. And even that itself is a not so good. So, but we'll get to that later. Don't worry about that. I've got the best good, and it is Zozo and the clock puzzle. I absolutely love the clock puzzle. I didn't remember how it worked because I had always used a guide when I was a kid. So I just remembered that there was a time. And so I walked around. I was like, I'm going to figure out this puzzle on my own this time. So I walked around, talked to every single person, and kind of like figured out that, okay, what we're doing is we are eliminating the different times, and figured it out on my own and felt real smart. It's a really fun little puzzle. I like that it's not overly complicated, and it's not like having to solve a riddle that you only understand if you wrote the riddle. It's just like elimination. You just talk to everyone and figure it out. I like it. That's my kind of puzzle.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
3, that's a magic number. I will ask myself 3 questions.
Hey, Matt, what are you liking so far?
So what the game does here is really great. The fact that like it sidelines Terra for like a good chunk of the game, just like it allows you to get to know the rest of the characters and learn a lot about their backstories if you bring them with you into the certain points. I kind of wish they would force you into bringing Edgar and Sabin into Figaro, and I kind of wish they would force Locke along with you into Kolheim. So, just so you get those things, but like, if you don't know and you miss it, well, you miss it. You can go back and find out later, I guess. Yeah, and also the Sab and Edgar scene is probably one of my favorites in video games. It is so good. Storm Rage, what are you liking so far?
I just like my favorite thing in JRPGs is that moment of like unlocking a new skill and then getting to use it and be like, this is a very fun. And it's been fairly slow about getting new skills. I don't think that there's a ton, but when they do pop up, it's pretty cool. Like unlocking Rising Phoenix for Sabine is such a fun moment of like, now I can do AoE damage, and I'm really looking forward to unlocking a lot more magics and stuffs. I think that there's some fun stuff going on. Dano, what do you like it so far?
This is such an iconic stretch of JRPG. Jador and Zozo and the Opera House are just honestly like iconic, classic JRPG. Each zone is incredibly fun with really original things to experience and interact with, from the auction house and the shenanigans that kind of ensue within there, and Zozo, like the city of crime, and the ridiculously difficult like climb up the tower with like some of like, it's not crazy difficult now, but I remember as a kid it was difficult with like we would kill one of the hill giants and they would use their earthquake ability. It was always such a stressful moment. And then the Opera House is absolutely amazing and one of my favorite parts of video games. Like, I think the story is really cool, and I remember like as a kid the singing was so amazing, and it's so much different now, like with the ability to have like truly operatic singing and voices. But even with the original soundtrack, it was absolutely incredible, and it was so amazing. Yeah, Matt.
I think I prefer like the original score to the person singing it in the remastered score personally.
Yeah, where you don't have the voice and the lyrics. It's just kind of like No, I don't disagree with you. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
What they were able to do with it is so cool, and it was, I mean, nobody else was doing it. It was absolutely amazing. Matt, what are you struggling with?
I spent way too much time in Zozo to the point I think I might have over leveled a bit going into the next area, which is fine. I kind of needed to do that anyway. And then the clock puzzle just made no sense to me. I didn't even try, I guess. I don't know. I just was like, what's the guide say? 650, 10. Got it. All right, cool. Let me get that chainsaw. All right, let's keep on moving out. Let me go through here again. I almost turned off encounters at one point just to explore a little bit, but I didn't, and I think it caused me to overlevel a little bit. Storm Rage, what are you struggling with?
I have a genuine question that I don't know the answer to for you guys. With Espers being able to grant anybody magical abilities, Are mages inherently worse because they have less flexibility than everybody else?
Mm-mm.
No. Mages are the most powerful characters in the game because of they will have more MP and their magic they have a higher match. So there are stats in the game as well, strength, magic, vigor, that kind of stuff. And magic is like far and away the most powerful ability in the game. And so the ability to do powerful magic just outshines everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could put a bunch of like
so Celis and Terra
damage-
are your two most powerful characters in the game.
yeah. So you could put like a bunch of like offensive spells on like CYAN. He has like the worst magic of all the characters we have so far.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you could he would do it, but like it doesn't do that much damage. Like
'Cause
he's
right
better
now,
off just doing.
I have yet
like
to
regular
come to a
attacks.
fight where magic was more powerful than any of my physical attacks.
Yeah, and that's by
Yeah.
design because we aren't we're still early in the game.
Are we still early in the game?
Yes.
We're like 3/4 through Act 1.
We're like halfway through Act 1.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah, so like, we're still collecting the party. We haven't even met all of our friends yet. Yeah, so right now, like, so I mean, there will be a point where like you will stop using a lot of those abilities. Like, so right now, Sabin's blitzes are really good. There will be a point in the game where Sabin's blitzes he becomes mediocre. And right now, Terra and Celis are fairly mediocre, but there will become a point in this game where they become the absolute powerhouses of the team. So as we kind of progress through the game, like right now, like physical attacks and like engineering and that kind of stuff is the more powerful abilities. But that will change as magic becomes more and more powerful. As we gain more and more of those abilities, magic will become more powerful. And the abilities that can use the members who can use magical powerfully will become the more powerful members of the party. So.
All right.
Yes.
Daniel,
But
what are
yeah,
you struggling
no,
with?
it is a good question. Yeah.
Dano, what you
me.
struggling with?
I want to play this game all the time, and I'm getting way ahead. I'm so far ahead right now. I'm so far ahead of you guys. Like I'm gonna like lap you. I'm not even kidding. Matt, what surprised you about the game?
My memory of the opera scene was bad. Maybe not bad, but like I guess like my strongest memory of the opera scene when I was like 15 years old. So like it was a lot more impactful then. Like it felt more serious when I was 15. I did not realize how slapsticky the opera scene is.
The end of it?
Like,
yeah,
it
it's
was,
awesome.
Yeah, it's like it's campy and silly and unnecessary, but also perfect in every way. I loved it. Like I absolutely love the opera scene. I've been humming Celeste's part like in my around my house all week because that music sticks with me all the time and I love it. Storm Rage, what surprised you?
Swapping over to Vector, when we got into the town, all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is different. Most other towns that we have been to, by and large, have basically the same architecture, basically the same vibe, and there's like a little difference in maybe the environment or where it's located, but very, very similar. And Vector felt like the first place where it was like, oh, different, bad. This is bad. I know this is bad because there's too much technology for a place of this nature, and it's not cool technology like Figaro. It's bad technology like the Industrial Revolution. Daniel, what surprised you?
The opera scene is still the best thing to ever happen in video games. It's so cool. I absolutely love it. The music is just so amazing, and the original music was just incredible, and it was so cool, and like seeing like what they were able to do with the art was so great. And then Ultros popping up and having to go and attack him and having the fight on the stage while the crowd is cheering in the background. Like as you do attacks, the crowd will cheer, and it's so much fun. And like we will get to Final Fantasy IX later, but Final Fantasy VI walked so Final Fantasy IX can run. Like this was I mean, the opening scene of Final Fantasy IX is just Final Fantasy VI opera scene, and it's so great. I love it so much. Yeah, Matt.
I love the effect they did in the Pixel remaster where they kind of 3D-ified the stage a little bit, where it was like kind of an isometric view as opposed to like the side view that we had in the original SNES version. And it was just it's very well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the music is what is. I mean, the soundtrack is just incredible, absolutely incredible, and like you have to put it like in its where it's at in history too, right? And like what it was doing with the technology it had, and that role playing games were still like if you played Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 4, and what Final Fantasy 6 was, it was amazing, and it was so cool. Absolutely so cool.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Storm Rage. Sell the game to a friend.
It mayhaps might be the silliest of JRPGs.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I don't know.
There's some pretty silly ones.
It's very campy. I do
It's
love
campy.
I do love that it balances between like seriousness and just ridiculousness.
Yeah. 7 bar.
And then Joker wipe.
Yep.
It is I, Luck, the world's premier adventurer, who shall take her as my wife. Silence, knave, you stand in the presence of octopus royalty. A lowborn thief like you could never defeat me. I challenge you to a duel. That's it for this week. Next week, we discover the secret of Magitech in Final Fantasy VI. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all our Twitch subs and patrons for patronizing us. You can find the link to our Discord and links to support the show in the description of this episode.
FF6 is a game, and games are meant to be fun.
Yeah! And don't forget, if you ever have a secret that started the worst war in the history of the world, make sure to tell it to the first people that you see, baby.
This is the end of the show. Everybody bye!
This is a fun week for me. I was so excited to write these show notes.
I love that you gave Storm Rage the opera.
I thought it was
because-
appropriate as a
Yeah.
theater, a man of the theater.
In my brain, I was like, they're gonna have the person sing, but they're just gonna have Celeste like stand on stage. That I could buy. That's still a stretch, but that I could buy. And then they were like, no, you're singing. I went, no, that's no. I will accept magic. I will accept the history of this world. I will accept Magitech armor. I will accept every other aspect of this game. That is by far the most outrageous thing they have claimed in this entire game.
The walking and talking octopus, also more believable.
Yes,
That holds a
100%.
grudge.
100%.
Yeah.
Good news or bad news, depending on your frame of reference. I was able to make the next Dragon Age game work. So we will be returning to Dragon Age the Veilguard to finish that story, which I'm excited about because I do want to play this final game that apparently the woke mob ruined for all the real gamers. So that'll be fun. Yeah. I
got like a show's worth of like game in while I was playing it, and I enjoyed it. So
I was looking forward to playing it. It seemed fun.
yeah.
I just
I'm
got
excited to
annoyed
wrap
when
up
like
that story because there's clearly a lot of threads that are intentionally left unpulled, and I just like closure, and I think that the story is set up in a very fun way.
agreed. Just like Final Fantasy VI, which we get to play again next week.
Yep.
That's it for this week. I think let's talk at you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.